welcome back to the International Wealth Builders Association radio talk show. I am your host, Toya Tillett, and I'm here with my special guest today, Michelle Estrella of Guild Mortgage. She is the branch manager in Wildomar. So before we left, she gave us some really good information. I just found out that I still can't qualify for down payment assistance as a self-employed borrower. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to make sure I line things up over, take a look at last year and line things up for this upcoming year. Make sure, I can, come say, hey, Michelle, can you get me qualified?
Exactly.
She's been in this business, guys, for 39 years. Now you have to have some type of drive or something for it. Michelle, tell us, what's your secret? Like, what keeps you in this business for 39 years? Because I know some jobs I'm at, I'm like, it's been 5 minutes, I'm out of here.
Wow. I'm not sure that I ever have been asked that question, but obviously I love to help families to achieve home ownership. I love mentoring and coaching professionals within my industry. So I've had, many years of recruiting, training, growing, and retaining talent in this industry, anywhere from in the operations, from funders, processors, and loan officers. So I enjoy helping people make this a successful career. And that's the two sides to it. I'm helping families achieve homeownership and establishing long relationships, but I'm also working with teams of people who I get to be involved in their success. So I think that is really what I love. I've built, great relationships all these years in this industry. It's a small industry when you think about it,
Right.
you will run into people, years down the road that are still in this industry. I think also I'm an incredibly tenacious and loyal person. So when it gets tough, I'm actually, going at it in a different way. It's like, this is not going to beat me, I'm going to do this. So I think just that, commitment to something. I've stayed at most of my companies for a long time. I've been with Guild Mortgage for 12 of those 39 years. I did sell real estate. I've been licensed as a real estate agent since 1995, but just because of being a lender. But I did actually sell real estate from late 2008 to 2011. And because that's when the mortgage industry went through one of its biggest upheavals and disruptions. So I did, get the opportunity to have the perspective of the other side. So, you work a lot with lenders, so you'll learn and you understand or, take in and absorb certain things about lending, even if you're not 100% focused on that part of it, because you let someone else, do that. But the same thing was with me as a lender. I was aware, I saw, purchase agreements all day long, and I, had to read them from my perspective, but it did give me an opportunity to have the other vision, the other perspective, to know my role within a bigger picture. But ultimately lending was something more for me. So I did return to lending after those 2 years. So I have never done anything else since I was 19. So that's like another thing. It's like just what I know.
Yes, that's amazing. So, and that's what makes you an expert in your field, because, that's the one thing that you do. That's what you focus on. You're not trying to do like 100 things. I'm doing loans today and, doing hair tomorrow, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, you've solidified yourself in the industry as an expert. It's one of the things that kind of helps you focus throughout the day, because I know you guys get overwhelmed. So not only do you have files piling up on top of you, you got deadlines to meet almost every day. Then you got those pesky realtors calling you, want to know what's going on with my client's loan.
Yeah.
So how do you stay focused to get everything done?
Well, at times it is really difficult, but I've learned to like strengthen my mindset. And at times, it fails, and times, it gets rough and you have a meltdown. But okay, I've really learned that communication is really key. So when you are like overwhelmed and a lot is happening and the realtors need information, you just have to stay focused on the fact that of their role in this, their stress in this, their need for you to communicate and to perform. And I'm sure that you've noticed that sometimes when things get tough for loan officers, they go MIA.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is
That.
unacceptable.
Yes.
So one of my loan officers that I worked with for a long time, she used to say, when it's tough is when we have to over communicate.
Mm,
So I
okay.
really try, even though there's times when a realtor wants some information and I don't have any, and I'm like, really, if you could let me get the information, then I could share it with you. But you just have to understand that the gap is going to get filled in somehow, and it's going to get filled in with fear and distrust and all of the negative things. So you need to be calling and filling in the story. You need to not let people, make up stories like how everything's going bad or how I've
Right.
dropped the ball or whatnot. So I want to be able to tell you the story instead of you making up the story, even if it's bad news. Um, Communication is highly important. So that has to be number one. Even if something's going to take longer, that has to be number one.
Right.
I think I have an advantage. You know how they say somebody becomes an expert if you have like 10,000 hours or something in something.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
the one advantage that I have is that I honestly don't know any longer how I know what I know, but I've developed certain instincts, and so that has helped me to have the instinct of how to solve the problem or what to do next.
Right.
And as long as I stay calm and call on that experience, I can get a lot done. I have honestly let some things fester that were hard to do. You know how sometimes if it's hard, you keep putting it on the bottom and the
Yes. Yes.
bottom
I
and the
did that.
bottom, and you don't want to deal with it. Well, I have totally learned that that does not help.
No, it doesn't. You might as well face it head on.
Face it head on. And I'm human though, so I've put things on the bottom of the pile and let them become bigger than they needed to become. But
Mhm.
as long as I can remember this most of the time is, eat the largest toad first or whatever that saying
Right?
is. Then I'm gonna, serve my borrowers and my realtor clients and my builders or whomever, sellers even, I'm gonna serve them better if I just remember how that looks to
Yeah.
them and what their stress is about not having an answer and not knowing that, what's going on. And so sometimes it's bad news.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel like
deals mostly today
Mhm.
fall apart from some level of incompetence, unfortunately, but in the end, if a deal's not going to go, it's not going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. You can
Um,
try to force it as much as possible, and sometimes it's just not meant.
it's not going to go. Yeah. So hopefully it's not from, mistakes or unknown information, but sometimes it's just life and
Mhm.
it doesn't fit together, but communication and staying on top of it is key. Setting proper expectations. I remember early in my career, I didn't realize that when I said I'll call you right back,
Mhm.
that is no expectation. So to one person that could be in 2 minutes, to one person that's
Right.
not maybe as in need, that tomorrow might be fine. So if you don't say I'm going to call you back by the end of the week or
Right.
in the next business day or by the end of business day Thursday or something that
Mhm.
is specific, then you're just creating your own problems of your phone blowing up or you know you're not available and somebody thought that calling you right back meant in the next hour. So
Yeah.
setting a proper expectation is really good.
Yes, yes. I noticed when I started doing that some years back, I read a book. The story is about a loan officer. um,
Okay.
and it's like, oh my goodness, is it seven? So I read that book and it was really good. And what I learned, the key thing I took away from the book and that I actually incorporated into my life was putting a callback time on my voicemail. So,
Mm-hmm.
so just instead of just saying leave a message, I'll get back to you in my earliest convenience, I went to, okay, if you're calling between calling between these days, then, your callback time will be at, I will be making return phone calls between noon and 1, and then, again, between 3 and 4. And
Yeah.
I noticed when I started doing that, and when I have that as my message,
Mhm.
like, it kinda it freed up so much stress that I was feeling, because people
Yes.
would be calling me or texting me or something, and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta call them back, I'll call them back," but I'm so busy doing other things. I'm like, "I'll
Mhm.
call back, I'll pass." Okay, so it's like, when I put that on there, that kinda stopped, because,
Yeah.
now the people are like, "All right, she's gonna call me between, 11 and this time, or between 3 and 4." And, if they call outside of those times, or if they call after 4, then they know they're not gonna call back until tomorrow
Right. Mhm.
between, these time one of these times. And so that helped tremendously. Like, it kind of saved my sanity
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
in this day and age with technology, the way things are, everybody wants instant gratification right now. They
Yes.
want to know right now. And it's like, if I could tell everybody right now, how many, I would never have a moment to breathe.
Right. Mhm.
And so,
And you also can't call 10 people in the
right.
same minute.
Exactly, exactly. And it's like, come on, guys, we gotta kind of slow down. And I do
Mhm.
notice that with my tax clients too. And it's so funny. Like, they've already started calling. Nobody
Mhm.
has anything.
Right.
Nobody's ready to go. And I'm like,
Right.
all right, you guys, I'll get back to you. Let me know when you have your stuff. I'm kind of that kind of person. It's like, when you have your stuff, call me. So just
Mhm.
for you guys out there, if you have a tax prayer, don't drive them crazy if you don't have anything together right now, because there's really nothing we could tell you or do for you.
Right. Right.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so
But
I
communication is like real, it is important. And our commitment to setting the right expectation is
right.
equally important. I don't record a message, a new message every day, but I do have one of my fellow loan officers that records a message every day. So she
Oh,
will
wow.
say when she'll say the date, she'll say
Mhm.
when she's in appointments, when she's free, and when she's, expected, checking her messages 3 times a
Right.
day or 2 times or whatever her setting expectation. She records a new message every day.
Okay.
Um,
And
I don't do that currently,
right.
uh, but I do try to, whatever I say I'm going to do when I have the conversation is you have to make sure you do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that definitely helps keep you on track and keeps you focused, and, everything like that. Like, I love learning about, like, time management. Like, it took me a little while to get the grasp of it and everything, so I didn't feel like I was all over the place. And the shocking thing is, like, when I actually block off time, I just tried it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try it, some years ago. And I'm like, I'm gonna try this time blocking thing.
Hmm.
But I noticed when I actually time block, I ended up having more time than if I just woke up and tried to wing it all day.
True. Yes.
So, yeah,
Yes.
I think it's really good, especially in an industry like this where, even though you're your own boss, you kind of went from maybe having one or two bosses in corporate America to having, however many clients there are, because those are now your bosses. Because
Hmm.
you gotta answer to them, you gotta work with them, you have to, you got to be there for them. So now you've created more bosses, but there's still a way to kind of reel it in and still get more time for yourself, and stay on top of your commitments. Like you said, if communication is
Yeah.
everything, and then if you're committing to a certain type of communication with your client, you have to do it, because then that's your reputation, and then
Mhm.
that's what's going to get you referrals. So
Right. Exactly.
awesome,
Yes.
awesome.
And
Well,
and that's one of my big things is efficiencies create freedom.
right.
And time blocking is an efficiency. Like I could know what I have to do all day and I could either do it now or I can waste time and do it at 5. But if I did it now, it could be done at 2 and then I could have more freedom.
Hmm.
So I think, now is always the opportune time and, setting the expectation and creating efficiencies for yourself to not get distracted or waste time is going to be great for everyone. And you're going to get the freedom that you need in your career, your life, the balance and everything.
Exactly, exactly. So, with that being said, you guys have learned some really helpful tips. So, if you're out there and you're having some of these struggles that, I'll just speak for me, I used to have some years
Mhm.
ago before I started incorporating some of these tools and tricks. I'm not perfect, I fall off sometimes, but for the most part, I notice when I do them, my life is much easier and less stressful. So if you're listening out there and you're in the business world and you're feeling overwhelmed, just try incorporating some small things and take baby steps. It's okay. You don't have to do everything at one time because then you get overwhelmed and you won't do anything.
Mhm. Yes.
So take the baby steps, start blocking off little chunks of time, throughout your day. Just start small, and it definitely will get you a lot further in life. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and go to our final commercial break. And when we come back, we'll talk to Michelle about what she sees going forward in the future of the real estate market and the loan industry, and also, what's up next for her. All right. So, we'll see you guys in about 2 minutes.
Mhm.